Zephaniah 3 and verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. She drew not near to her power. Her princes within are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones to the marrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law." Verse 5, "The just Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring forth his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame."
We're starting with breaking news of a mass shooting in Sacramento. We know at least 6 people have been killed, 10 others hurt after the shooting started right around 2 a.m. local time, so very early this morning, East Coast time. Right now, you've got police looking through the scene outside a couple of different nightclubs. Video of it shows a bunch of gunshots and then people running through the streets in Sacramento, which is, of course, California's capital. Police say they have not made arrests yet. The investigation could take a matter of days now. Joining us now on the phone, Barry Axius, a community organizer who was there on the scene not too long after this shooting happened. Barry, thank you so much for being on the show. Good afternoon to you.
No problem. Thank you.
And I should say good morning out in California where you are. Tell me what you saw. Tell me what happened.
Just a chaotic scene. Just random victims running from the scene with blood all over their clothes. Victims trying to find their loved ones. Screaming for help, and just one of the most heartbreaking things was a mother coming and asking where her son was and believing her son was one of the victims, and unfortunately her son was one of the victims.
That's awful. I know that I can't imagine the heartbreak and the terror in an instant like that. Tell me a little bit about what this part of Sacramento is typically like at this time of the morning.
Vibrant. You know, you still have people doing their daily jogs. Folks are getting ready, prepared for the Sacramento Kings game that's going to happen this afternoon. And even towards the nighttime, it's just it's nightlife. It's normal nightlife in any other downtown city you usually will have. Unfortunately, a place that usually has heavy police presence, I don't know if the police were somewhere else at this particular time, but this kind of violence doesn't normally happen in downtown. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, you've seen the increase of violence happening not only here in the downtown area, but in all the multiple communities in Sacramento. And unfortunately, a lot of us community organizers and folks that deal with gun prevention and violence prevention throughout the city, we've also kind of saw this happening eventually, that the violence was no longer restricted to poverty-stricken areas and communities of color, but this was going to be moments like this happening because there hasn't been a proper investment or resources to give people what they need.
You know, we are still waiting to hear, as you talk about the police response, waiting to hear more from them. Not sure at this point, right? It's TBD whether or not there will be a news conference in Sacramento later on this. But Barry, can you tell me a little bit, given, you know, what you saw, the people you talked to, have you talked with law enforcement at all about what you witnessed in those moments outside those clubs?
Yeah, we law enforcement has, they've been very, touch and go with the information. So it's so new. And I think that the type of violence that we're witnessing, the type of targeting that this tragic mass shooting was, I think that's why there hasn't been that much said. This is definitely not a situation that was random. Unfortunately, I'm sure there was multiple victims that probably weren't even the targets. But at the same particular time, here we are at another moment. Just last month, we had 5 people dying, right? And it just seems like it's happening more often. And unfortunately for Sacramento, it's no longer happening in restricted areas. It's happening in areas like downtown.